Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, shuffling half asleep toward the bathroom, wondering why this has become such a regular part of your life? Maybe it happens once, maybe twice, sometimes even 3 or 4 times before morning. Or perhaps you stand there at the toilet, waiting for the stream to begin, only to feel it stop and start, never fully finishing, leaving you frustrated and uneasy. If this sounds familiar, I want you to pause with me for just a moment, because these changes are not simply the price of getting older. They are not random. They are signals. Signals that your prostate, that small walnut-sized gland sitting right beneath your bladder, is asking for attention. I am Dr. Vanessa Clark. I have spent decades helping men over 60 reclaim their confidence, their comfort, and their peace of mind when it comes to urinary and prostate health. And in today's video, I am going to reveal 3 everyday habits so common that most men do not even realize they are doing them, that quietly enlarge the prostate and make life more difficult. More importantly, I will show you what you can do instead. Gentle, practical steps you can start today to reduce pressure, improve flow, and feel more at ease in your body. If you stay with me until the very end of this conversation, you will not only understand what is happening inside your body, you will walk away with tools to change it. Let us start with one habit that almost everyone is guilty of: holding in your urine for too long. Maybe you are driving and you do not want to stop. Maybe you are in a public place and you prefer to wait until you are home. Maybe you are simply distracted and put it off. It feels harmless. But inside your body, something very different is happening. Your bladder is a strong muscular reservoir, but when it becomes overly full, it expands in all directions, upward into the abdomen and downward into the prostate. Remember, your prostate wraps around your urethra, the tube that carries urine through your penis. When that gland is pressed repeatedly by an overfull bladder, it becomes irritated, inflamed, and eventually swollen. I often tell my patients to imagine the prostate like a soft sponge. If you press on it gently, it springs back. But if you press on it hard, day after day, that sponge begins to stiffen. Its fibers thicken, circulation weakens, and soon enough, it no longer behaves like it once did. That is exactly how chronic urinary holding contributes to prostate enlargement. And here is the cycle. The more swollen the prostate becomes, the harder it is for the bladder to empty, which leads men to hold it even longer, and the cycle repeats. Breaking that cycle is as simple as listening to your body sooner. When your bladder calls, answer. Do not wait until it is shouting. And there is another layer to consider. When the bladder stays stretched for too long, the muscles that normally contract to push urine out can weaken over time. Think of it like a rubber band that has been pulled too far. It loses its snap. A weakened bladder muscle struggles to empty fully, leaving behind residual urine. That leftover urine becomes a constant source of irritation for the prostate, like water pooling behind a dam. Over the years, this not only worsens swelling, but also increases the risk of infections and stones, further straining the entire urinary system. The second habit may surprise you because it does not seem connected to the prostate at first. But it is, very directly. It is the habit of ignoring constipation. When your bowels are sluggish and stool becomes hard and compacted, the pressure builds in your lower abdomen. That pressure presses directly against the prostate, which sits just in front of the rectum. Imagine resting a heavy brick against a sponge all day long. Over time, that constant push irritates the delicate prostate tissue, reduces blood flow, and triggers swelling. But the damage does not stop there. Chronic constipation creates low-grade inflammation that spreads beyond the intestines into nearby organs, including the prostate. And when stool lingers too long in the body, it throws off the balance of healthy gut bacteria. That imbalance increases systemic inflammation, which again circles back to worsen prostate swelling. I once treated a man in his late 60s who lived on processed meats, cheese, and white bread. He thought constipation was just part of aging. Once we shifted him toward cooked vegetables, fruit like pears and prunes, and added simple daily hydration, not only did his bowel movements become regular, but within 2 months, he reported less urgency at night and a stronger, easier urinary stream. He was amazed that something as simple as fixing constipation could help his prostate so directly. And here is the extra piece many overlook. Straining during bowel movements does not just irritate the rectum, it puts direct downward pressure on the prostate. Repeated straining day after day is like squeezing that gland in a vice. Over years, it accelerates tissue thickening and growth. This is why resolving constipation is not just about comfort. It is about protecting the long-term health and balance of your prostate. The third habit is sitting for long stretches without movement. It is something nearly all of us do, especially in retirement when routines slow down and comfort becomes more important than activity. What feels like rest to the mind often becomes stagnation for the body. The pelvic region, where your bladder, prostate, and colon live, depends on circulation. It thrives on subtle, continuous movement to keep oxygen, nutrients, and lymph flowing. But when you sit for hours, blood flow slows, waste products accumulate, and the prostate sits bathed in low-level irritation. Think of your prostate like a small sponge again. If a sponge is squeezed and rinsed regularly, it stays fresh. But if it just sits in dirty water, it stiffens and begins to break down. Long periods of sitting create that same stagnant environment. I had a patient who spent hours each evening in his recliner watching television. His prostate symptoms worsened year after year until we made one simple change. Every 40 minutes, he stood up, stretched, and walked for 2 minutes. Within weeks, he noticed less pelvic heaviness and fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom. It was not exercise in the gym, it was just breaking the stillness. And here is the deeper truth. Sitting also weakens the muscles of the pelvic floor, which play a crucial role in supporting bladder control and healthy circulation around the prostate. Weak pelvic muscles lead to more pressure on the gland, more pooling of blood, and more inflammation. This is why incorporating movement snacks, short bursts of standing, stretching, or gentle walking, is one of the simplest but most powerful ways to protect your prostate. Now, I want to go even deeper. Because while these 3 habits are powerful, they are not the whole story. Hormones, particularly testosterone and estrogen balance, also play a role in prostate growth. Excess belly fat, heavy alcohol use, and poor sleep can shift that balance in ways that encourage enlargement. The foods you eat, rich in processed meats, fried oils, and refined carbohydrates, feed inflammation and worsen swelling. Meanwhile, foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and plant nutrients soothe inflammation and help your body restore balance. Tomatoes with lycopene, pumpkin seeds, salmon, olive oil, leafy greens, all of these give your prostate the support it needs to stay calmer, smaller, and less irritable. And then there is stress. High, unrelenting stress floods your body with cortisol, which alters hormones, constricts blood vessels, and worsens inflammation. Many men notice their urinary symptoms are far worse during stressful times. Learning to breathe deeply, walk outdoors, or practice a calming routine before bed is not just for your mind, it is medicine for your prostate too. I think of a patient I once treated, a man in his early 70s named Harold. He came to me exhausted, waking 4 times every night to urinate. He told me he felt like he had no control over his body anymore. We did not start with pills or surgery. Instead, we looked at his daily life. Harold admitted he often held his urine, sometimes for hours. He was chronically constipated and ate very little fiber, and he spent most of his day sitting at the television. We worked on 3 things: going to the bathroom sooner, adding oatmeal and vegetables to his meals, and standing up for a few minutes every half hour. Within 6 weeks, Harold was down to 1 bathroom trip per night. He told me, with tears in his eyes, "Dr. Clark, I finally feel like myself again." That is the power of understanding and changing the habits that quietly harm you. So, Here is what I want you to remember. Prostate enlargement is not just about age. It is not inevitable. It is, in many cases, a reflection of how you treat your body every single day. Holding your urine, ignoring constipation, sitting for hours, neglecting movement, eating processed foods, living with unmanaged stress. These are the habits that fuel the problem. But when you make small changes, listening to your bladder, keeping your bowels regular, adding movement snacks, nourishing your body with real foods, calming your stress, you give your prostate the chance to calm down, shrink back, and serve you well into your later years. You are not powerless. You are not broken. Your body is asking for care, and when you give it that care, the results can be life-changing. If this video spoke to you, please subscribe and join me here every single day. I release new videos with real, compassionate guidance to help men over 60 stay strong, confident, and healthy. I am Dr. Vanessa Clark, and I want you to remember this. Your best days are not behind you. They are waiting right in front of you if you choose to take the small, steady steps that keep your prostate and your whole body thriving.